What up, everybody, and welcome to the Socially Conscious St. Louis podcast. I'm one half of this thing. I'm David. The other half is Rebecca, the black author of the Running Away from God series, which is very good. I suggest y'all go check that out. It's been a minute. I might have to. Oh no, I think I lost a couple of my books before you release your new. I'm gonna have to go back and I'm gonna have to read the previous books so I can make sure that I am up to date because it's been a few years. But that's neither here nor there. What up, Becky? You over there munching like a bird.
Nigga, I'm starving. Like I ain't nothing all day, bro. Nothing much, man. Working, one fraudster at a time. That's all I got to say.
So now, do you take inbound calls or do you call people?
I take a mixture of both depending on what's going on in the day. If our call volume is heavy, then yeah, I'll take calls. I don't mind. But yeah, the ones that call in, I just be like, all right, like stop.
But the
we really don't make a lot of outgoing calls. Outgoing calls, honestly, which is great for me because I really don't be feel like talking to nobody. We only make outbound calls if it's like a situation where we think it's fraud and we trying to reach the account holder, or if it's a situation where like somebody set up a brand new account and then we have to call and do verification for that. If that list gets too long, then I'll jump in and help them knock it out.
Hello, can I speak to Mr. Sanchez?
Yeah. No, for real. No, for real.
No speak English, no.
No, for real.
Okay, Mr. Sanchez, you don't speak no English.
No, for real, man.
Espanol. Okay, Mr. Sanchez, let me transfer you to one of my Spanish speaking associates. Oh, so you do speak English. Okay, let me transfer you back to something to that.
No, yeah, no, for real, bro. Like as soon as you say something they don't want to hear, no comprende. I'm talking about all English is out. Ain't no more English.
No.
And then just to get somebody who get an interpreter or to get somebody speak Spanish, the decision is not gonna change. Like, you still owe this money.
That's real. That's real.
What's going on with you, man?
Oh my goodness. What ain't up?
Oh my goodness. Man? Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's what them Spanish homies used to say. You'd be up there at O'Reilly's and shit joking, and you'd be like, oh my goodness. Man, speaking of O'Reilly's, so I don't think I mentioned it the last podcast. I terminated, aka fired, for bullshit. And I went up there the other day because the store manager is a drunk Caucasian woman, and me and her had a couple of arguments, and she didn't really like me very much because she felt like I was gunning for her job, which I was, but you know how it is. If I had the complexion for the connection and the protection, I would have had her job.
I am still yet confused as to why she's still employed. I don't understand. Man. Like even when the situation was explained to me, I still don't know how this chick got a job. Unless it's just the only thing I can think of is because she's white. That's the best I got.
That's it. It's because she's white. But here's the kicker though. I went up there the other day. I'm a bit of a recluse, so if I'm not working, generally I'm at the house watching TV, listening to music.
People pissing people off online
from time to time, or cutting grass or something. I really don't get out. Like it has to be something. I don't want to necessarily say monumental, but it has to be something that I really, really want to do. Get out of the house because it's just. Yeah. I mean, if I'm not moving with a purpose, what's what's really the point of like, me moving around, especially the way gas is. And I drive a truck, and ain't like I drive a 4-cylinder, where I can drive all over town for 2 weeks and I only had to pay $35 to fill up my tank. It ain't like that. I can drive around for 2, 3 days, depending on, how much running I gotta do. And then that hot $60, $70 is coming out of my account to fill up the truck. But nevertheless, I had been meaning to get down to O'Reilly's for a minute, but again, gas high. I ain't just going down there for nothing. So we went to the St. Louis Car Museum, me and my brother's family. We had a very nice time together. Something I have been, wanting to do for a minute now. I definitely do like cars, and the car museum was enjoyable. It's not as big as I thought it was, compared to the size of the entire property. But there's a shop in the back where they do like restorations and painting, all that good stuff. And then the front side is the museum. Don't get me wrong, it was very nice. The display cases had a lot of like die-cast cars and certain like Hollywood memorabilia, masks, and different items and stuff like that. The showroom, of course, has the cars. Some are for sale. So if you guys are looking to get into the classic car game, some of these museums and these classic car galleries do have some stuff that's reasonable. Like, you don't necessarily have to be rich. You can get something that's a little bit reasonable, but you do have to have some type of money.
Right.
But it's not like you're gonna have to pay 60,000 for something classic. Once you get into the Firebirds and the Camaros and the Mustangs and some of the other stuff, or some of the more rare cars, you're gonna be paying more.
Yeah.
But I mean, I seen some stuff down there for like 15, 30,000, which isn't bad for a classic car. And of course, most of these car places, they do buy and sell cars. So you could drive something and you could keep it for a year or 2 or 3, drive it around. And
they'll buy back from you.
Yeah, as long as it's in decent condition, they'll buy it back from you. But it'll have to be like, garage kept and only drove on nice days and stuff like that. Really well maintained and taken care of, because they're looking to resell it. Once it comes back in the museum, it's looking to resell. So you be like, hey, I want to trade in this car and I want to get something else. And a lot of people do that. They'll buy a classic car, keep it for a couple years, drive around.
I didn't even know they had that. That's dope.
Yeah, you know what? There's this what is it? Miami Cars or Miami Classic Cars or something. It's this show that used to come on like A&E or something like that.
Miami Coast, Miami Customs or something like that.
Something like that, where this dude's got this big, huge classic car gallery, and he buys and sells cars, and he has customers that come in, buy cars, flip cars, sell cars. Okay, I want to trade you for this. I want that, whatever. And as long as the value's nice, the car is still in great condition, they'll buy it back from you, and then you can take the money or you could buy something else. So, did that with my family. It was great. Again, I'm trying not to be such a recluse. I do like my space, but you got to spend time with the family. So we did that. We had lunch, which was very nice. And after that, I rode on up to the JOB, the old JOB, that is. And I knew that drunk Caucasoid woman
you just had to. You just had to do it.
That's
Damn it, David. This is why you be pissing people off online.
What am I supposed to say? Intoxicated? Does that make you feel better?
You could have just said, the girl's name, if you don't want to put her name out there, your ex-manager. But no, you got to be David. You just got to be you.
Drunk Deidre.
You did use to call it, to be fair.
Was not up there, and I knew that she wasn't going to be up there after a certain time. So I rode up there to get some oil and a filter so I can do an oil change on my truck, which has been, I don't know, probably, I think right when spring hit or right before spring, I changed my oil. And with as much running and stuff as I do, I definitely had that on for these past couple of weeks. So I wanted to go up there and get some oil, rap with my people. I'm still cool with everybody who work up there except drunk Deidre. And I know she was the only one that would trip if I would come up there because technically I'm not supposed to be up there. But don't nobody care about that, okay? So yeah, I went up there, rap with my peoples, whatever, got some oil. Place looks like shit. No kidding. I walked in, I'm like, yo, this place is like shit. Walked in the back room, place looks like shit. Like there's like all types of returns, like commercial returns that is like straight piled up. I was like, yo, all these is returns? They was like, yeah. Oh wow. And she's still complaining, oh, I ain't got no help. I got to do everything around here.
But you really wasn't doing nothing. You half the time you wasn't even there. Wasn't she gone for like weeks at a time?
Yeah. But now that I'm gone and the drunk Native American white man, he leaving, she don't have no choice but to come in. And now you got to come in on Saturdays and Sundays because you ain't got nobody to cover for it. I'm gone. I was the best thing that ever happened to your store. I built the commercial up. Somebody trying to message me. Anyways, had to mute that real quick. But yeah, mom, like you can give everything to a company. And especially as a black person, you can go above and beyond the call of duty. Because I was doing her job as a manager, doing a store manager's job, doing my job running commercial, which I built. Commercial was slow as hell when I first took over because of the previous managers and people who they had running commercial was doing a horrible job. Commercial was slow. I built the commercial side. Commercial was busy because of me. And part of it is getting the right parts, getting, figuring out what they need, getting it like to them in a timely manner. Like I got to the point where I was jumping in the truck. Hey, y'all, I got some deliveries I got to run. I'll be back. If anybody call, hold down the fort. Whatever. So depending, I might jump in my truck or I might jump in the company truck, make deliveries, to get people their parts. Because at the time, it wasn't the driver's fault because the older gentleman, Tom, he was under the weather for about a week or two. And we only had one driver, and he about as slow as molasses in the ice box in the wintertime in the middle of the Arctic Circle. He about that slow. Mentally and driving wise, physically, he about that slow. But it is what it is. He's a body. But, again, when you do a commercial like that, you need two people at least, maybe three people. If we got busier, they might possibly look into adding on another driver, a part-time person. But again, if dude got to run all the way down there to Lindbergh and Lackland, and then he got to run over here, then he got to run up to Olive and Olive and Lindbergh, and he got to run all these places, and calls are steady coming in, and then you have your city routes. You have your, you got your trucks that come in from other stores, your stock transfers. So I'm looking for a water pump. We don't have it. I had to order it from Bristol. I have to order from Maryland Heights. I had to order it from Veneta Park. It's going to be here 110, 115. Okay, when 115 gets there, these people waiting on their parts. You got to understand, it's a whole chain of, I don't want to say chain of command, but it's a chain. If I tell my customer, Okay, that part's gonna be here at 1:15. When
Mm-hmm.
the driver shows up with the parts, we need to get that shit organized. Look at the board. Okay, what's going on? Okay, boom, we got this. Bam, that's got to go. That's got to go. Bam, 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 bam. And I'm the type of dude, even though it's the driver's job to pick tickets and put everything together, I want to make sure I put my hands on damn it everything that leaves the store. So I know shit's right, because if shit ain't right, they
Right.
gonna look at me. So I'm like, okay, water pump, bam, timing chain, okay, bam, that's right there. Bam, that's going there. Then you got to try to separate it. Okay, this shit is going over towards Page and Woodson. This stuff here is going more towards Lindbergh and Lackland. So now you got two different directions in which you got to send your drivers. So I'm hopping in the truck. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting people their parts. I'm doing her job. I'm doing my job. I'm doing Drunk Gary's job. And it's like, yo, you took, well, first of all, they thought I stole, I think it was a water pump. One of our commercial customers, he forgot his checks, which he always pays with checks. He forgot his checks. So it was one of those things, hey, man, can I take this part? You know, send your driver down later for a check. Yeah, no problem. One,
Mm-hmm.
he's one of us. He a black dude. You know what I'm saying? He runs his mechanic shop or whatever. So, and I know he's gonna pay for it. I know he's good for it. I'm not even worried about it. I know he's gonna pay. See what I'm saying? He'd be a little concerned when I be taking care of him on the price. Hey man, you sure you could do that, Dave? Man, I don't want to get you in trouble. Mike, bro, look, Mike, man, look. What's the point of me being in a managerial position, bro, if I can't
If you
help you
can't
out?
make those decisions, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like if I can knock them prices down and save you $10, $20 or whatever the case may be, bro, I'm gonna do that for you. Especially since he
Mm-hmm.
always, hey Dave, man, you need anything, man? You need me to look at the truck, whatever, 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 whatever. Nah, Mike, I'm cool, truck running good, whatever, whatever. And you know, homeboy pulled up on me. This is how we as black individuals should treat each other, because of what I did for him on the job side of the game. When my truck went down, he pulled up at the house on a Sunday afternoon and got my boy back running, got the beast back going.
That's what's up.
My man pulled up on me. He ain't had to do that. I would have told her down to the shop. You know, I know how it is. It's business, but homeboy, like, nah, Dave, you taking care of me. Least I can do is pull up. 5 minutes, he figured out what the problem is. You know, he like, hey, your truck running. It's not 100%. You got a valve or a rod or something stuck in there that's causing it not to start whoop de whoop de whoop. But at least you'll be running on 7 cylinders, and at least you'll be rolling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can look at other stuff another time. You're gonna be good
Yeah.
for a little minute, you know, and then when you're ready to look into the motor, what's going on with it, you know what I'm saying? Let me know. Okay, cool. You know, it's the same with my other partner mechanic. We be trading off work. Hey, Phil, I need such. He like, all right, well, you know, I need you to such and such in my yard or whatever. Hey, it is what it is. So, anyways, make a long story short, they thought I stole the part that I sold him because I returned it, and it just so happened loss prevention was there that day, and they pulled me into the office, and I told them what happened, and they're like, "Oh, well, you gave that part, even though that's against company policy, dude."
I hate when they do that shit. I've never been done like that before, but I'm just saying, like, bro, it's almost like we trying to get you to admit guilt. You know what I mean? Like, oh, so it's against company policy, right? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't
I
need all
get
that
it,
extra shit.
but see, the thing about it is, what's company policy and what's happening on the ground floor
Mm-hmm.
don't always coincide with
Align.
one another, because it's a lot of times when your customer, because okay, let me preface this by saying cars can be very very complicated.
Yeah.
You can have a wheel bearing, one smaller, one slightly larger, and they can't figure out which one is which. I'm talking about just slightly larger. They're gonna say, hey, can you send both of those down to me? And then I'll figure out which one is which. And I'll send the one I don't need back. Okay, cool.
Right.
Hey, can you go ahead and take this core charge off for me? I'll have the cores later on. Okay, cool, no problem. That's what it is. It's, you that's what the relationships are. That's how you run the commercial business. Like, you know, you
And it
don't
ain't like you was dealing with somebody who wasn't honorable. Like even when you would do that, he always made sure his stuff was good. Like he always paid.
everybody pays. They don't, because these people want to continue to do business with O'Reilly. And most of these people are honorable. Like,
Because I guarantee you, I think, in my opinion, you would have been fired either way. And this is why I say that. Because if you gave him the merch on credit, knowing that he's gonna pay, that's a problem. If you would have told that customer, hey, I can't release this part to you until such and such is paid, then what if the customer gets upset and be like, I'm going somewhere else, and you lose a customer? You see what I'm saying?
I mean, it's a competition between all other businesses. So if you lose a customer, it just is what it is. That's what the manager's job is for. So you could do shop calls. Hey, what's going on, Rebecca? I noticed you haven't used this in a while. Is there anything I could do differently? Is it our pricing? And this is a weekly thing, so that. But anyways, so I told him I took a starter. I had every intentions on paying for it. It was sitting under my desk, and I admitted it. And maybe I shouldn't have, but I was getting tired of that place anyway. This place was so stressed out. I'm trying to run truck, returns, check in, trying to do her job, my job, blah, 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 blah. And I just got tired of it. So even if I hadn't admitted whatever, I probably would have been fired anyway. But I told him I took a starter and I put it on the truck. And it's like, oh, well, are you going to pay for it? Are you willing to pay for it? Well, yeah, obviously I'm going to pay for it. If I wasn't going to pay for it, I would have got rid of the evidence. I mean, look, we black people know that we're going to get our reparations one way or the other. Black people know we're going to get our reparations. So we going to do what we got to do to get our reparations. And I'm just going to leave that at that. Black folk know what I'm talking about. We're going to get our reparations.
Right. Kinfolk. We know.
You ain't paying me shit? No way. I'm going to get mine.
My reparations. I'm taking all the staplers and paper clips and legal pads and shit.
They call St. Louis
Give me this goddamn trash can too. I don't give a damn if it is small.
And it's basically the same thing. They're like, oh, well, we're a for-profit company and da-da-da-da, this, that, and the third. And the St. Louis County office is like, so
why did you call us?
We can't just pay for the item and we can all go on about our business. They asked, are you willing to pay for it? I said, yeah, I'm willing to pay for it. I said, I told him the same thing. I said, if I wasn't going to pay for it, I would have got rid of the evidence. Even dude was like, well, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And it's like, well, can he just pay for the part? You say you're a for-profit company. If he pays for the part, then you're not losing any money. Well, we've already called it into corporate, and there's nothing we can do, and it's out of our hands. And the dude's like, come on, man, let's just go. I'm gonna put the handcuffs on you. I'm gonna run your name, do all that, whoop-de-whoop. You got any warrants? I said, yeah, I probably got some warrants in the city for some traffic stuff, whatever. I told him flat out I went through the amnesty program and I forgot to make a couple payments. That was my bad. And my stuff went back into default, so I have warrants. He was cool with me. I was cool with him. He's like, hey man, I thank you for being cool, and basically not throwing a fit or whatever. And I was like, hey, look, man, you cool with me? You treated me fair. I'm gonna treat you fair. Yes, I know we live in a police state. Yes, I know that I could be killed with impunity. Yes, I know there are a whole lot of race soldiers out here. Yes, I know that. But not everybody's like that. And until I feel like that situation is going in that direction, there's no reason for me to come out of a bag, which I wouldn't do that anyway, because you come out of a bag that can lead to your death or whatever. But still, you doing your job, homie, that's fine. I'm gonna be fair with you as long as you treat me fair. And I said, man, the city ain't gonna come. The city don't want me. I can tell you that now. Oh, I just well, I just got to do my job. Oh no, you cool, brother. Do your job, whatever, man. Do whatever you need to do. I'm letting you know the city is not gonna come get me for no traffic stuff. I've seen them lock up dudes for stealing out of grocery stores and drop this dude off at the end of the parking lot. Like so. It's basically I went, got in my truck, went, filled up my tank, and went home. And I called Mike. Hey, Mike, appreciate everything you did for me, homie. Uh, you know, I'm terminated. So when you come down and make that payment, I'm not gonna be there. But if you need anything, bruh, reach out. You know what I mean? So that was that. And me and Mike correspond from time to time. The brothers actually getting married, I think towards the end of the year. So congratulations, Mike, on your union and your marriage to your beautiful bride and all that good stuff. So that was that. So I'm no longer employed with O'Reilly's Auto Parts. And I am now an employee of another cable company who shall remain nameless. But needless to say, when one door opens, one door closes, another door opens. It was a little stressful for a while because I was at the point where I had clients that I would service, and I'm still working a full-time job, so I'm servicing these clients in between the full-time job. But then you go from having a handful of clients, and that's cool, and that's doing you justice with the nice little income that you're getting, to now you ain't got shit going on. And you know how the truck is. I got an older truck. If it has issues, it's broke down, blah, 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 blah. And then you come to the realization, like, well, fuck it. It's running, it's driving. I don't have that much money coming in, like my income has decreased significantly. Now I got to go out and get it. So business picked up a few clients, and yeah, so that's that. Sometimes you just be like, hey, fuck it, got to do what I got to do. Got to get out here and make it till I get something else. Thought I had a job, but due to my licensing issues, they did not hire me, which I was kind of upset about because I really wanted that job. But it turns out that the universe, the creator, had a better opportunity for me, and I will be making more money than I have ever made in my life. And that is going to allow me to get a lot of things taken care of, because the biggest issue facing Americans today is wages. Because a lot of people live below the poverty line, and I'm one of those people who have lived below the poverty line for a majority of my adult life. And it feels good to be able to gain employment somewhere where they actually gonna pay you. There's room for growth. You don't have like one person or two people in front of you that's gonna hate on you to try to knock you off your square. So I have not started yet, but by the time this next podcast or whatever comes out, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it goes well. But again, my experience with O'Reilly's, answering the phones, talking to customers, doing that, working multiple screens, help get me in the door. So now with me answering phones, I already have a leg up, and it's not too late. I just want to put this out there. It's never too late to make a career change. This good, I was gonna say friend of mine, but this lady I know, she used to work with. She recently left corporate America, got her CDL, and now she's a truck driver. And she's probably in her mid to late 40s. early 50s or whatever. She's left corporate, become a truck driver. So it's never too late to make a change, to do something different, to step outside of your comfort zone. And that's that. So I almost got caught in a nigga moment about a week or two ago, a little while ago. I almost got caught into a nigga moment. And unfortunately, I hate for it to have to be this way. But some people are just irrational. Some people are so self-absorbed that they feel that you inconveniencing them, even for a handful of seconds, is a no-go. It's an abomination. Like, how could you do this? And what it was, one of my customers has a vacant property in the city, and anybody who lives in the inner city, there's not really much room to work. There's not much room to park, depending on which area you're working in. And I was working in the back of this house, and I was doing a brush removal job, where it's all this brush that's been growing up for the past 3 years that I'm chopping down, stacking on the parking pad, and trying to get all that stuff cleaned up behind this vacant property that my customer owns. And I'm sitting there and I'm working, and I have my truck parked in the alley, and it's not a super busy alley. It's really not, like. And then what makes it so bad, there's three entrance exits to the alley. There's one coming from the east, there's coming from the west, and there's one going north and south. So for you to come to me and throw a fit because I'm blocking the alley is just crazy to me. And dude had me flustered, because this is, like, to me, it's just so childish. Like,
you can't believe you even having this conversation.
Really, I'm parked in the alley, and it's literally a house right next to a main road. Like, there's like a little shop, a little restaurant right there, and it's the next house in. So it's literally at the beginning of one side of the alley. And I have my truck parked there with my trailer, and I'm cleaning up brush, this, that, and the third, whatever. Apparently, homeboy came by earlier and saying that I was parked there, and I guess he drove around or whatever the case may be. So I put my stuff in my truck, because your stuff gonna walk off of you if you don't put stuff in the truck. I got chainsaws, other shit out there that I need, that I paid for, that I don't want anybody to steal. So I go to this little corner store across the street. They serve hot food. So I go over there, give me some lunch, give me some drinks or whatever, whatever. So I come back from the sit in the truck for to take my lunch. As a matter of fact, no, actually, I just got finished with my lunch, and I was pulling everything out of the truck, and homeboy pulling to the alley. You see my truck sitting right here. You see my trailer sitting right here. And you steady creeping up like you expect me to move. And at first I wasn't gonna move, because I'm like, this nigga see me right here. Like, I'm not for the fucking move. Like, but that can cause a whole nother set of problems.
Yeah.
Dude, like, man, you blocking the alley. I say, bro, I'm working right here, bro. Like, you see me working right here. But yeah, but you was blocking the alley earlier. I'm like, bruh, come on, G. Come on, man. Bruh, really? This is what I'm gonna tell you, like, really? Come on, bro. Be reasonable, dude. Be reasonable. You see me working here. Well, you could have parked. He like, well, you could have parked on the property. I said, bro, there's no room for me to park. There's literally a parking pad that's maybe a 10 by 10 parking pad. like where it's literally good enough for you to just park your car back there. There's not a whole lot of space. I'm like, come on, G, you see me working here, bro. I ain't blocking the alley for nothing. Like I can't park on the front. Like this, sometimes I need to get stuff out of my truck, whatever the case may be, and I have other equipment in the truck as well. You see me working here, G. Come on, man. I'm like, be reasonable. I don't know if he came to his senses or whatever the case may be. Oh man, you right, you right, you right. I'm like, thank you. And that situation could have gone much worse if I didn't talk to dude like I had some sense. If I had came in, man, fuck you, man, you see my motherfucking truck right here, nigga. That could have been a whole issue. But I'm like, bro, you see me working here, man. Like, come on, G, be reasonable. And the thing is, I didn't have no, first of all, I got a 11, 12-foot trailer and I have a truck. They're hooked up. There's nowhere to park in the back except for the alley. Now, mind you, you can come in from this side or you can come in from the top down if you need to. These two ladies live across the alley in this house, across the street from the house I was working on. They seen me right there. Mm-hmm. They drove around. Bam. I ain't blocking the alley just for nothing. And I know what we do. Black folk, a lot of times we don't be thinking about other people. We just want to be talking in the street, especially over there by Ronald Jones funeral home. Niggas just want to be blocking the street. Yeah, what up, nigga? I ain't seen you, boy, since Soul and Reunion and niggas. What up, nigga? Bro, beep. Come on, nigga. Get the fuck out the street. At least pull over and talk to your mans. I'm legitimately doing a job right here. And the parking pad was used to stage all of the brush that I cut down. Because I had talking about a whole fence line full of crap. So I'm taking my chainsaw, I'm cutting limbs down. And these is like trees. Like, they start off as weeds, and over time they grow in the trees, and the branches get bigger and thicker and whatever. So look, I'm cutting this shit down with the chainsaw. I'm getting so far, then I gotta take that. I gotta grab that stuff, move it out of my way, so I can have some room to work. And I'm using all of that material to stack on the parking pad. So all I gotta do is just come back the next day, finish cleaning up the fence line, and majority of that stuff is already stacked, ready to put on the trailer. And for one of my black brothers to come over here and pitch a bitch about me blocking the alley had me flabbergasted, because the time you took to argue with me about me blocking the alley, you could have easily rolled around. It would have took you an extra 15, 30 seconds to roll around the other side of the alley and go and park your car. That's it. That's True. Dave almost got caught in a nigga moment. Jesus Christ. I love my people. I really do. But sometimes, Lord have mercy, sometimes. Would you like to expound on that, Rebecca?
I don't understand. I guess initially when I heard about this, I didn't understand what the hell paying your taxes have to do with the fact that somebody's blocking. But I guess at the same time, he's like, oh, well, I pay taxes here. Like, I have a say so. You can't be here, blah, blah, blah kind of thing. And it's like, bro, it's not that big of a deal. Is it annoying? Probably. But if you see somebody actually working, like they're legit working, it's different than, like, prime example, went down to mama's house a couple weeks, no, on the way back from North Carolina. We stopped at mama's house to get some stuff that I had shipped there. And you got niggas that's sitting at the end of the parking lot just sitting there because they are kin to the people who live across the street, and they feel a need to just feel like they can park and block the other end of the alley because they don't want to park too far down away from the house they was at. Because you know where mama house is, it's on the corner. So it's the house cat corner to her. And it was already so many cars parked on her side as well as the other side. To be honest, if they would have just parked behind the car that was parked in mama's house, they would have been fine, but they didn't want to do that. They just sat at the end of the alley and blocked the whole alley, like you couldn't get in or out that way. So is it annoying? Yeah. But I just turned around and went the other direction. I ain't got time to be sitting here fooling with these niggas cussing them out because they blocking the alley. Just make a decision to go the other way. You see what I'm saying? Like, I understand it might be frustrating, but like, it ain't that deep. Because my thought process is this. One thing that mama has always said, you need to be careful who you talk to because you don't know what's coming from behind them. So, what would have happened if you just had a bad day and you won where you got a hair trick? Dude come out, I pay taxes too, and you been parked there, blah, blah, blah. And you one of them niggas is like, yeah, I back. Then what? You see what I'm saying? Saying I'm not giving an excuse to it. I'm just saying it ain't that deep. Could have just went around. You could have been in your house. All that arguing, bitching, and complaining. You see that I'm being productive. I ain't on no bullshit. You see I'm working. Just relax. I get it, but relax.
Hate for it to have to be that way. I really do. So, are you familiar with Peter Thomas,
Sort of.
Cynthia Bailey's, or
Yeah. Yeah,
Real
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Housewives supermodel Cynthia Bailey's former
Yep.
husband, Peter Thomas, has recently been exposed. Shout out to Unwind with Tosh K by his, I want to say, restaurant manager. I'm not exactly sure what her specific title was, but it
Mm-hmm.
has came out that homeboy does not pay his debts. He
Mm.
doesn't pay his employees. He's got employees homeless. Uh, she allowed a couple of employees to sleep inside the restaurant because they didn't have any place to go. There's people that's quit. Apparently, homeboy owes the, what do you call it? I want to say liquor vendors. I guess that's the right word for it. Homeboy opens. He owes liquor vendors money, which his account is over limit.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, from what I understand from the lady, and y'all can go on Unwind with Tosh K. Y'all can see all the videos of Homegirl. I wish I had her name. I'd have to look it up. But so apparently, dude makes a habit of this,
Mm.
and it's kind of funny because I used to kind of watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I used to hear
Mm-hmm.
him and his wife at the time argue about his finances and him not paying her half to front the bills. Well,
Mm-hmm.
now it's came out that he opens a bar one restaurant, basically runs up the tab, and then before shit hits the fan, he closes it, pockets all the money, sets people up to go to jail, moves to a different location, and opens up another bar one restaurant. And actually, the interview with the lady, let me see if I can
Mm-hmm.
look on Tasha K's page. Oh, I don't know her name.
You want
Um,
me to check it out?
I'm looking on her page right now, her Instagram. Here it is. So, Bar One general manager breaks down the scam Real Housewives of Atlanta star that she's running. And let's see what homegirl name is. Should have had this together. Mm, damn. I wish she had it in her description. Check out her YouTube page, Rebecca. See if you can find Homegirl's name.
And what's the name? One more time for me.
Well, it's Unwind. It's Unwind with Tasha K. And
When did she post it?
About a week ago. That's
12.
Oh my god! I wish I had this chick's name because she had all the receipts too. Because it's funny because she tried to.
Who is this?
She's light skinned. I can't find her name, but it don't matter. Maybe if I can find it later, I'll do it. If you can find it, that's cool. Y'all can actually go on her Instagram, go to Unwind with Tasha K. Look on her Instagram about a week prior, or you can go on her YouTube page. But I just thought that was very interesting. Homegirl had all the receipts. Like, dude tried to set her up, like to take the fall, and apparently he's running this scam over and over again. I think that's crazy. I really do. I really think that's crazy.
I think it's jacked up. Like, bro, I'm surprised he ain't been sued.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. How come homeboy is not in jail? How is homeboy not in jail?
I'm confused as to why he's not sued.
It's a Ponzi scheme. Oh my god, what is her name?
I'm finna see if I can Google it. And you said she did a video about Peter, right?
Yep. I'm trying to find the girl's name. I'm trying to find her name, but she don't have it in the description. Doesn't look like she has it in her. Doesn't look like she has it on her Instagram page.
She did do a YouTube.
She did.
A
It
week
was
ago. Ponzi scheme. Peter, Real Housewives of Peter Thomas exposed. It's on YouTube. She had
Alicia. Her name's Alicia. That's her name.
Here it is. Instagram. One general manager breaks down the scam. Real Husbands of Atlanta. Real Housewives of Atlanta star Peter Thomas is running. Did you want me to send it to you?
No. Actually, I was looking at that. Matter of fact, while I'm sitting there talking about it, I forgot that I could share my screen.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to the Instagram. Let's see here. Instagram. Can you see that screen, Becky?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. Let's see here.
I Googled it, and from Google took me to the Instagram of the actual this video.
Yeah, I'm here. Unwind with Tasha K. Tasha K be getting all the dirt. I don't know how she be finding this stuff, but Tasha K be having all the dirt on everybody. Let me not do nothing because Tasha K gonna find out.
Nah, for real.
Let's see. Here it is.
Uh-huh.
Something going on that's not right, I'm going to expose you. And if you cannot humiliate me because I've been humiliated before, you cannot degrade me, you can't scare me, you can't push me away. I got my foot on his neck and I'm not going to stop until we get every dollar that is owed to every establishment that he's ever owned. And he thinks that he can just funnel money from LLC to LLC, close them down, and it's no money there, file bankruptcy, and then move that money around so people can never get their money. He played with the wrong one.
So you mean to tell me a restaurant his restaurant would say bring in $30,000 for that day?
Mm-hmm.
Servers would bring in around, let's say 10. I would say like maybe 7,000-8,000.
Just do the numbers on it, Tasha.
Instead of him counting the restaurant making these sales, he would say that he didn't make any sales. Give it to the servers, cash their money out, keep it personally as if he paid the server, and say that the server stole his money and he funneled. Yeah. So it looks like the restaurant is in the red. He doesn't have to pay taxes because he's taking a loss.
Exactly, Tasha.
What the fuck?
That's right.
Crazy, right? Let me see. Can I end this share? Or pause it? Stop share. There we go. All right. Yo, so yeah, her name is Alicia. I'm not exactly sure what her last name is. But you heard it first. She's not gonna stop until she gets the money for everybody who ever worked for Bar One. And it's funny because, like I say, I've heard this on the Real Housewives actually some years ago of him and his wife arguing how he's got this bar. The bar's not bringing in any money. It's not successful. This, that, and the third. Blah blah blah. Well, come to find out, homeboy been stealing for everybody. They say Jamaicans be stealing from people. I don't know if that's a Jamaican thing or if that's just a him thing, but I think it's real shiesty that Peter Thomas is doing this. Like, you just want to jump from bar one to bar one to bar one to LLC to LLC, and you not paying for. But that karma gonna catch up to him. It's really only a matter of time for that karma's gonna catch up to him. And whatever happens to him, I'm not gonna feel sorry for him. Cause I actually used to follow dude on Instagram as of recently. But when I seen that interview with Tasha K, I completely unfollowed dude because I'm looking on your page, and homie, you still looking like you living your best life at the expense of other people. Like, literally, this nigga, oh, I got the new bar one Miami. I'm still living my best life, and we popping champagne in bottles. I feel like Riley Freeman, you gonna pay what you owe.
That's why I'm like, I'm shocked that he ain't been sued. So what you do? Pay your employees for a little while, long enough to get some good money from the business, file bankruptcy so that if they do sue, I will have to look into that some more. But file bankruptcy to where if they do sue, you technically don't have to pay them because your book showed that you're in the red, so you couldn't afford to do it. And then open up another business.
Allegedly. That's what he did, you know. Allegedly.
Oh, it's just me wondering, you know. I ain't there. I don't know what it is. I'm just wondering.
At first, you know, when I seen the IG clip first. And I was like, okay. And then I seen her post in the comments because somebody was like, oh, you need to post the receipts or whatever. Homegirl went straight. Oh, I got the receipts. She had all the receipts on her Instagram, like bounce checks. He had to pay her money. And it was funny because if you watch the interview, he actually tried to set her up and her people to take the fall
for what he was doing,
while him and his little two right hand men, women, whoever, pocketing all the money. While she goes to jail, she goes to prison. She like, hey, I've already been to prison once before. I know how the gang go. I've been in the restaurant business. I done looked at your books, homie. You ain't gonna catch
and
me.
I know what it is.
Even Tasha was like, I worked in the hospitality business for a long time. And she's like, the fact that happened is crazy. Simply crazy.
It is. I hope old girl do expose him. And I hope the law catch up with his ass. If they already ain't got an investigation ongoing.
I mean, they might. You know how it goes with the IRS and the Fed. They'll build a case against you. They'll just let you continue on doing what you're doing. And they're going to build that case against you. And then before you know it, they're going to be right at your front door. Hey, we need you to come with us.
Mm-hmm.
For what? What did I do? I need you to come with us.
Them type of niggas don't even get Mirandized. They're just like, come on, nigga, get in the car. You already know. Get in the car.
Man. So your boy T.I., and this is not necessarily new, but I just seen the clip. So T.I. was on man, what's homeboy name? Cam Newton. T.I. was on
Mm-hmm.
Cam Newton's podcast, and he had something very interesting to say about trap music. He feels like trap music is telling the story of those who came out of that, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily a glorification,
Right.
but
You're speaking your truth.
it's speaking your truth. So we're gonna hear what T.I. has to say about that.
A lot of people say, trap music, even after 20 years, they're like, yo, well, it's just glorification of felonious activity. It's just people, making light of people selling drugs. Well, I say to that this. If you look at us differently, don't look at us as drug dealers, drug users, or former drug dealers. Look at us as refugees from the war on drugs. War that was waged against the citizens in this country that look like us. Crack was dropped off in our community. Right. These sentences were meant to take us away, remove us from being able to be fathers, brothers, mothers, cousins, uncles, aunts, just break down the family dynamic. And from that, we found the silver lining. We took what the devil meant for bad, allowed God to use it for good, turned it into philosophical presentation, set the music, called it trap music, and changed the course of living for our families forever. And nothing else has been able to do that for us outside of throwing a ball. Yes, sir. Catching, throwing, shooting. I mean, ain't nothing else really that has been able to do that as much as this has. And no one would say that an alcoholic who drank liquor for 20 years got clean in 2003 and been clean for 20 years, but still can recall how alcohol tastes, still can recall the last time they threw up, still can recall all of the hardships and all of the things, the pain that came with it, and still can recall how they overcame that and made sacrifices to live a better life today. Right. That's their testimony. No one could take that away from them. As and they use but they use that testimony share with other alcoholics to let them know that they too can one day get clean. Yes, sir.
There you have it.
He is correct.
There was a lot of pushback with T.I. and that statement. There was a lot of pushback. Oh, well, you've been glorifying the streets, you've been this, and da 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 da. What are your thoughts on that, Rebecca? Because I thought that clip right there that I seen, I thought it was very interesting. But I want you to talk about that first before I.
Yeah, I kind of knew where he was going when he started comparing the two. I think he's absolutely correct. How come you can't make money off your struggle? People do it every day. And here's my thing. If it's okay for white folks to make money off your struggle, how come they can't make money off their own?
Uh-oh.
Just a question. Just a little razzle dazzle, just a question. We so worried about what T.I. saying this and that, which he's, in my opinion, 100% correct. No one knows what their life is like. And people know when they hear it, the lyrics, if it's genuine or not. You can look at the person and listen to the lyrics and see how they move a little bit and be like, yeah, this nigga lived this shit. I just don't understand why people are such an uproar about it. Why is him telling his story, his testimony through music, which is actually very genius? You're literally turning your testimony into profit. You're turning your pain, your hope, your hurt, your struggle, your doubts, your fears, resentment, all anger, frustration, all of that, you're turning it into profit. So are we really mad because T.I. is glorifying whatever, demonic trap music, violence, all this other thing, all these other things? Are we really mad that T.I. is doing that? Or are we really upset because is white folks really upset because we found a way to monetize our hurt, anger, fears, frustration, our testimony, our life? It's almost like, how dare you profit off of your pain?
But
it wasn't the
white people though. It wasn't the white people. It was the black people. Said you sold poison to your community, and now you are glorifying it through song.
Here's what I say to that. It's sad how we as a people cannot, in some instances, rally behind a person when they're doing something. They're not looking at the circumstances in which T lived. It is very arrogant to say that I would have never done that in my community. I've had the life that he had, but you didn't. Some of your circumstances might be similar, but you didn't have the life that he had. Oh, I've had a life that he had. I would never do such a thing. You don't know what that man was dealing with, and you don't know what he was facing. The stuff in his music is only a pinch of what probably could have happened to him, and for him to make the choices that he made. I don't see nothing wrong with profiting off your life story and something that's a part of who you were at the time. Like, I don't see why we have an issue with that. I mean, I guess because they're like, oh, well, at the end of the day, you're selling drugs. But it's like, these are the same people who are like super Christians. And they forget that the Bible tells you that you have to forgive and not judge. They do left that life in his past years ago. Why are we not able to move forward when we feel like it doesn't fit us?
He's influencing the youth, Rebecca. He's influencing the youth.
Okay, what are you doing at home, ma'am? Focus on that. Focus on what you're doing and not doing that influences your kids. Huh? All them niggas running in and out your fucking house, and these little girls get to see these niggas in and out, in and out. Can we focus on that? Okay, sir, if you got something to say, you need to focus on your life and what you doing. How about that? How about strap up for once and stop having 15 kids? How about do that? I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Dr. Umar would disagree with you.
Judge not.
Dr. Umar would disagree with you. But we're going to get into what he was talking about. Man, that nigga stupid anyway. I don't even see why that nigga every time. Dr. Umar Ifantunde would disagree with your statement, Rebecca.
That motherfucking Thanos ass fucking beard.
Thanos built it.
No, for real, bro. For real. If you really think about it, absolutely.
I don't have a problem with what T.I. said. I agree with him. Because first of all, crack was meant to decimate the Black community. And in some aspects, it did. But in other aspects, it didn't. Yes, there were people who were strung out on drugs. Not like there's not ever been somebody strung on drugs since the history of drugs. I mean, if you figure the 30s, the 40s, the 20s, with Billie Holiday and the like, and Ray Charles was hooked on heroin. Bad. And this was before crack even came in. So first of all, I just want to add that caveat. Let's not act like drugs have not always been have not existed before crack came in. Second of all, when you're faced with a certain situation, they say an animal is most dangerous when it's cornered. When you have a situation to where you feel like all hope is lost, you know, where you feel like there's nothing else you could do but turn to a life of crime, you're going to justify that in order to eat because it's survival of the fittest. If you go back and listen to KRS-One, Boogie Down Production, Love's Gonna Get You, he talks about how my sisters geared and had no sex appeal. Me and my brother shared the same 2 pair of pants, and my mom didn't really make that much. And you know, and now homeboy down the street gave me a couple $100 for a quick delivery, and now I'm getting money, and now we got clothes, and now we got food on the table, and now blah 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 blah. That is the situation in which the U.S. government left us in. So with T.I., again, like you said, Rebecca, that was 20, 30 years ago, give or take. You know, one of my favorite artists, Don Tripp from Memphis, that's all he talks about is selling dope and the reason why he sold dope. If you watch the Art of Rap, Something from Nothing, the Art of Rap,
it was good.
Bun B says something very, very powerful. He says, if I don't hear, he's like, because Ice-T asked him a question, and he basically went into how UGK, what they talk about in their songs. He's like, you know, our songs are about what happens when the drug dealer goes home at the end of the night and he's counting the money, and there's certain things that he had to do to get that money, and blah blah blah. And then he done worked himself up from the little street level dude to the big baller. He ends up getting busted, goes to prison, comes out. He has no other life skills, so he's forced to go back on the corner to do the same things he did before he got into prison. Because again, prison don't rehabilitate people. It's just a cage. They don't offer you any sort of classes or any sort of courses for you to try to correct yourself, at least American prisons anyway. And Ice-T said, I call that the B side of the game. The B side, everybody wants to talk about when the money's good, when it's coming in, when everything's all good in the hood. He said, but if I don't hear that B side, you know, I know your music's fake. And I'm not mad at T.I. for making a profit off of his own struggle. Sometimes you have to do a little good, a little bad to do a little good. You know, you could say Robin Hood. Robin Hood robbed from the rich, gave to the needy. You could say, well, he robbed from the rich, he's wrong. But on the other hand, you could say, well, he gave what he got from the rich to the poor. And then that begs the question, well, why are the poor poor? Because the rich was stealing from the poor. I don't have a problem with what T.I. did. He's not the only one. I think 2 Chainz had a line like, sold my mom drugs, you know, told my dad fuck him. Jeezy has talked about how he and his mom got into a fight because she was hooked on drugs and she got into a stash. He talked about how he almost put his hands on her. So these are real situations by real people, and especially considering how the systematic, you know, all of the systematic things that come into place for the Great Migration, people moving out of the Jim Crow South up to the Midwest, up to the North. You funnel people into these projects which they're called projects for a reason. These high-rise apartments, which were low funded, weren't properly maintained, weren't taken care of. When you put people into a jungle situation, don't be surprised when they act like the jungle in which they're from. But that was then. What's happening now? Yes, we've seen T.I.'s idiotic son in the news for doing dumb shit. He's a kid. You do what you do. You can agree, you can disagree with T.I., but I've heard, I don't know if it's true, I've heard that T.I. owns a construction company in which he builds low-income housing for families. I don't know if that's true. That's what I've heard. But again, he did what he did. Now, for him to do the things that he's doing now, he had to talk about his struggle. He had to talk about what happened. And he took that money, and now his family's doing good. Now he's giving other people opportunities to eat off of him, other rappers, music video people. If he does have some sort of construction company or
just answer your question. It does say he does own a construction company called New Finish Construction with his uncle, and it's supposed to be it is dedicated to Bidwell. Yep, so he does.
Thank you for that, Rebecca. I appreciate that. Quick on the draw too. So yeah, your man do own a construction company. So the negative that he did in those times, him talking about his struggles, and again, I agree with you 100%, Rebecca. It goes back to your family, your household. What are you doing for your kids?
Yep.
He has T.I. is obviously not the same person who he was when he was young, selling dope. He not the same T.I. when he was in and out of prison during the trap music time. You know, back when his first album came out, he's not that same person. People give T.I. shit for using big words like expeditiously and stuff like that, but I just think that just shows the ignorance of other people. This man has clearly educated himself to a certain point where he can use larger words that you possibly have not heard of. When I read a book, I'm reading Germany's Black Holocaust. I'm actually finished with it. There's a couple excerpts at the end that I have not gotten to yet, but there's words when I read books, I'm like, what is that word? I've never heard.
I do the same thing. I'll be looking it up.
I got to go to Google. What's that word? Oh, it means that you are second and third in line from the rear. Oh, okay. Now I know. Now I can add that to my repertoire. There's people that be like, damn, bro, you one of the smartest people I know. I just try not to stay ignorant, G. That's it. You know.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad at what T.I. said. I agree with him. I think that we as Black people, we tend to blow stuff way out of proportion. Because it's funny, when I first seen that clip, I instantly think of all of the gangster movies and television shows that people, including us, love to watch. The Godfather, Goodfellas, Sopranos, Scarface, yes. Movies like that, television shows like that, even when you see in The Godfather where they said when they was sitting around the table with the with all the heads of the families, what are we gonna do about these drugs? Oh, give them to the niggas. We don't do that shit. You could say that Bumpy Johnson. You could say that his protege Frank Lucas. You could say that other people like that decimated the community, but they also did a lot of good. There's always going to be an underbelly of society. It's always going to be that. And quite frankly, that kind of leads up to what Umar was talking about.
Because my whole thing is, why you heifers mad? Y'all, when y'all, all I'm saying is make it fair. If you're gonna be that upset with T.I., then don't be mad when old boy released that Freaknik documentary and your faces and everything is on there. You shaking ass and all this other stuff, and now you gone your life right with Jesus, and now you upset because I did that when I was young, and it should have the same energy. Is all I'm saying.
And Dr. Umar was on this podcast, and he was saying some things.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to go into that a little bit because there's a lot of things I don't agree with Umar with, and this is one of those things. Let me see. Here it is. So this is the daily wrap-up crew, I believe they're talking about. And here's Umar talking about some things here.
Because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for. Let's be honest. The Black woman has had to hold down the Black house by herself, although imperfectly. She's had to do it by herself since the mass incarceration of Black males began in the 1970s. You understand me? Most of our children are raised by a single mother right now. And it has been that way for about 50 years. So when a sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down. Or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be a man. You ain't got to work or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back. I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, Black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality. We created that. And then we want to act like we didn't play a role.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection. See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course you're going to end up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as Black men are not raising Black boys to be the men that our women need. We are not. They out there killing themselves right now. What we doing about it? Unemployed Black males, what we doing about it? Pants sagging, weed smoking, what we doing about it? Black men are not raising Black boys to be the men our community needs. That is 100% our fault. What I'm saying is she got a right to be angry with us. She got a right to be angry with us. We have not been on our job as Black men. If the men are the providers, what have we been providing for our community? I'm not speaking you individually.
Yes.
Because you may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. But guess what? What are we doing for the community? What are we doing for the children who don't have a father? You don't think the Black woman got a right to be angry when she's been raising 2/3 of the kids by herself for 50 years? And the minute she raised her voice, we say she's not humble enough. She had to become masculine to survive the rape, the molestation, the domestic abuse. Are you telling me you can't see how we created that?
I understand that, but she needs.
If we was loving our women and taking care of our women, do you think she would be like that? That personality has a history.
If she's picking Pookie and Ray Ray instead of
you're making her a scapegoat.
No, she's picking a scapegoat.
No.
There's good quality men that they ignore.
Why she even got it? Why is there even a Pookie in the selection?
You gotta ask her.
No. I'm gonna tell you why there's a Pookie in the selection. Because Black men have abandoned Black boys and have allowed social media, white media, athletes, and rappers to raise them. That's why she with Pookie.
See, that's where I got to give some pushback. And the reason why I played that clip, and I know that Umar panders to a female audience.
I've never heard him talk like this before. You know, the whole time I'm listening to him talk, I'm thinking like, this dude don't really believe what he's saying. He's seen the Derrick Jackson that fell off, and now he's trying to come up in this place. Like, that's all I kept hearing. That's it.
He's been like that for the longest. And there are some things that I agree with. There are some things I don't agree with. But the reason why I wanted to play that clip talking about the Black woman chose Pookies because Black men didn't do their job to prevent Pookies from happening. And me initially watching that clip infuriated me.
Okay.
Absolutely infuriated me. First of all, there's no accountability for the woman. I watched bits and pieces of the interview. He's like, "Oh, I do go on shows where I hold black women accountable." You really?
I've
don't,
never seen him talking to
I
anyone.
really don't, because most of his fan base are women. But to say that we created Pookies by not being strong, masculine, black, sturdy men is absolute cap. Absolute cap. Like I was saying in the whole TI thing, and I want to transition into Umar, there will always, always, always be an underbelly of society. Always. I don't like the fact that he tries to paint this narrative as if black men do their job, black women are going to get in line, and we're going to have this black utopia where everything's all good, and we no longer have hoods, we have neighborhoods, and everything's going to be good. It doesn't work like that.
True.
It doesn't work like that. It's never worked like that. It never will work like that.
Yeah.
Even at the height of civilization, when we was building pyramids and all that stuff, where you had the height of African Kemetic civilization, there's always an underbelly of society.
Mm-hmm.
There will always be a dichotomy where there's hot, there's cold, there's up, there's down, where there's light, there's darkness. There will always, always, always be Pookies. Always. Now, well, can I say that if we had a community, would there be less Pookies? Yes. But to say that the black man is not doing his job, therefore Pookie was created, is absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. There's always been an underbelly of society. As a matter of fact, the reason why a lot of the underbelly of black society was created is in order to fight against our white oppressors. From what I understand, from what I've heard, I've never really researched this myself, but according to Tariq Nasheed, when Tulsa was getting bombed, it was the street dudes who pulled up with them things to fight against the white people who were burning and looting the town. Man, it was the street cats who were really the protectors of our community. And it's crazy because even I've heard Umar say that we need to take the street dudes and train them to be warriors. Since they are already doing that shit in the streets, you need to take those street cats, treat them as a militia, as a military, give them some formations and this, that, and the third, and those can be your community protectors. But now we're saying that, well, because black men aren't doing what black men are supposed to do, Pookies now run rampant in the community.
So the question then becomes, whose fault is it that we have Pookies?
Pookie has always existed.
Like, I just feel like he's trying to pick up this whole Derrick Jackson vibe. That's what it looks like to me. It's weird. It's fucking weird. I will say I would rather never hear him speak in that space again. I just don't. This is somebody who also don't do right by women. I'm not saying everything he said was wrong, because I feel like, yes, on one hand, women do have a right to be angry and to be frustrated and pissed off. but you can't just have that one-sided conversation. But women also are supposed to be caring and nurturing and loving and taking accountability. Men also, Black men also have the right to be just as angry, just as frustrated, just as pissed off. You can't have a one-sided conversation without having the other side. It's just not fair. It's not fair to men because you all don't get to, you all now that puts you back in the space of we can't speak freely, we can't share our heart, we can't share our story, right? It puts you back in that space, but it's also not fair to have those conversations without both sides. To women, it's not fair to us because those type of one-sided conversation makes us lack accountability. You're not holding us accountable for the things that we've done. A lot of people will say in situations like, well, I don't know. I'm just gonna cap it at this. I think Umar is tripping in the sense that you can't say that angry, frustrated women is the Black man's fault without addressing why that is or how these men came to be. And I agree with you. It's gonna always be pookies in the world. Like, just like we gonna always have that one family member or so that do drugs, or one family member or so that's whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna always be that. But yeah, I think he just needs to shut the fuck up, figure out how to build the school.
Well,
get their money back.
According to him, the school is supposed to be open Kwanzaa 23. So that would be around the end of December of this year. Supposedly he's going to open up the school. He's also said that many times, many years before. I'm building the school. I'm opening up the school then. I'm opening up school for Juneteenth. I'm opening up school this and I'm opening up school that. And the school hasn't been open. So as far as I'm concerned, the nigga has no credibility in my eyes. I used to like Umar Johnson. I used to rock with Umar Johnson. As a matter of fact, I rock with him so heavy when Kim came to St. Louis some years back. It was our weekend to chill and be together, but I wanted to see him so bad. I was like, babe, we got to see Umar Johnson. She's like, who's Umar Johnson? I'm like, Umar Johnson's a psychologist, psychiatrist. Dude is like cold. We have to go see him. But again, you keep saying, oh, I got this school, this school, this school, this school, this school, this school. Oh, I have this property and we need people to come down and volunteer their services and blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. But your school hasn't been open yet. You know, people can say that Tariq Nasheed is a hustler, he's a swindler, he's a shyster, but here comes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has came out, dead numbers. 1804 Haitian Revolution came out, dead numbers. Buck breaking came out, done numbers, and his most recent one, which I have not got yet, American Maroon, doing numbers. Jason Black, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War, 3 documentaries, all done numbers, all came out. Where the fuck is your school? While you sit here, this is what pisses me off. Umar likes to sit on his high horse like you ain't done shit, nigga. Where the fuck is your school, nigga? Where's your school at? You talk to all this shit. You ain't got a charter school, a little school, a big, you ain't got shit. You don't have shit to show for but a bunch of interviews and lectures and stuff that he's done. But my problem is this. He says he holds women accountable. I haven't heard it because most of his fan base are women. It's the same hustle as the church. The reason why men are leaving the church because a lot of men don't believe in that bullshit. Pastor be fucking all the girls, the women in the choir and in the church, and he got 2 or 3 little kids that look like him. And men see this hypocrisy is like, yo, you worse than these niggas in the streets. So a lot of people don't, but you know, if you want to interview the man, fine. You know, I believe dude's got great information. But when it comes to the rubber meeting the road, I don't feel Umar's there. I don't feel he's been there. I don't think he's going to be there. You know, you had this whole conscious stripper scandal where
Yep.
you lied about it. Nigga, if you a single man, just say you wanted to get some sex. You had to lie about it and do all that. Dude, you a single man. Just say, yes, I slept with her. Nobody's going to fault you for saying I got a little piece of ass. You're still a man. Mm-hmm. But you had to lie about it. But back to what I was saying, I looked at that segment of what he was saying, and it's kind of like, oh, it's all the man's fault. And the women literally have no accountability. And I was getting hell of pushback because I commented on one of Tasha K's Instagram videos of Tokyo Tony, which is Black China's mother, knocking on a door, basically saving this gal from getting her head bust to the white meat by some dude. And I made the comment like, yo, Tokyo Tony needs to mind her business for something happened to her. I got so much pushback from women. Oh, you're a woman beater. Okay, I see what you're on. Da 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 da. Where's the accountability from you hoes? First of all, you went to a hotel with this man that you obviously didn't know very well. You know, I'm pretty sure if it was a dude that you knew better, who you've had sex with in the past, and you said, okay, I don't really feel like, you know, I don't really want to have sex or whatever, I'm pretty sure he'd be more understanding. But then you go to a hotel room with a strange man and he gets mad. I'm not saying dude's right because he was wrong, but you put yourself in a situation to where you set yourself up to get your head bust to the white meat. You a woman beater, bitch. You don't know shit about me. Nothing. I try to add a little bit of drop of reason, understanding, and accountability, and these bitches go crazy. And I call them bitches because that's the way I feel what they are. They bitches. So you mean to tell me she went to this man's hotel room at night to do what? Have Bible study? Then what he say? Oh, hey, come to this hotel so we can have Bible study. First of all, even if he did tell her that, you should look the nigga sideways. Who the fuck having Bible study at a hotel room at night? She put herself in that situation for that to happen. And if you knew you wasn't going to have sex with dude, why'd you even come to the hotel? But then you want to act like you played a victim. Then you say, well, if that was your daughter, you would want, or one of your family members, you would want to intervene. If that was my daughter, I'd teach her better.
Right.
Like, stop going to hotels and private places with strange men you don't know. Stop going on trips with strange men you don't know. Y'all hoes get flued out to Dubai, and you think that you're not going to get this man some ass, and he leave you stranded there. I'm stranded in Dubai because I didn't want to have sex with him. You knew the reason why he flew you out to Dubai. Ain't no dude flying you out nowhere unless he wants to fuck.
Especially not Dubai.
You know this. You know what type of time this man is on. If a man say, hey, I'm going to fly you out, you know what that means. That means he want to fuck. But where's the accountability? There is none for these women. And I just feel like these brothers may not have been educated enough or maybe passionate enough to go toe to toe with Umar Johnson. But I feel like what he was saying is wrong. You know, prior to the mid to late 60s, the Black family was actually intact. People was married, raising families, children, poor or not. The Black family was intact before the government gave a Black woman welfare. Now, I'm not saying that there weren't deadbeat dads, because there were deadbeat dads. Sure, there were. There were men who walked out of their children's life. Yes, We know this. But women, a lot of women chose government assistance over having a man in your life.
Mm.
And it's funny, I was watching this movie with, I forget what it is. It's a movie with James Earl Jones and damn, what's the girl's name? Lynette Winfield? No. It's an old movie, came out in the 70s where dudes are trash. James Earl Jones plays the trash man, and he hooks up with this girl, and she's got like 7 kids, and dude's irresponsible and all this, but when he finally kind of makes like, you know what, this is the woman that I want to be with, whatever, the first thing she asks is, he's like, hey, let's make it official, let's be together, let's, you know what I'm saying, let's make this thing happen. Well, what about my welfare? To the point where they went down to the welfare office and they would ask him, well, what do you do? Do you live there? How much do you make? Blah, 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 blah. Let's not act like the Black woman did not get tricked into the feminist movement by the white woman. The white woman used the Black woman to gain a certain level of independence from her white man. But the difference is the white woman will go home to her white man. White women will complain and they will bitch. They will riot. 53% of women voted for Trump in the 2020 election, 2019-18 election. I think it was 18. It doesn't matter. But when Trump was elected, 53% of all women voted for him. The next day, those same white women that was complaining about him grabbing pussies and stuff was rioting in the streets because he was elected. White women will let's just say they value whiteness over everything. They might march in the street with you, Black women. Oh, you need to leave your husband. You need to do this. You ain't got to take that. Burning bras. And the Black woman go home to a single household, an empty house. The white woman go back home to her man. She'll complain about him all day long, but is she going to do anything to really jeopardize her situation? Most of them aren't. And that's continued on to this day. You can't say, oh, well, the men need to step up and we need to be in the community and we need to and you, if you watch the interview, he goes on like, oh, you need to mentor her kids and you need to do this and you need to do that. First of all, we don't have a community, nigga. That's first of all. There is no Black community. There's just Black people living in this society. We don't have a community. Second of all,
you had to elaborate on that one day, bro.
It's not my bro, like homeboy. So I think it was a light-skinned dude. He's like, it's not my responsibility to take care of his kids. I'm not talking about individual. I'm talking about a community. Again, as a community, it's not his responsibility to take care of somebody else's kids.
That's true. He don't have to. He got a choice.
I do feel like there should be big brother, big sister programs. When I was a part of a church organization, the reason why I stayed, despite me not believing in the religious aspects of it, was because we were doing after school programs. It was because we had a 98, 99% graduation rate from the inception of the program on up until the time it closed. We was doing vacation Bible school, getting the kids off the streets in the summer. We were doing those things. That's something that I was extremely proud of. Yes, there should absolutely be programs, but do you necessarily have to help somebody else's kids? No, you don't. Like my mentor told me, the only people you're responsible for is you and your immediate family. Those are the only ones you're responsible for. If you want to help outside of that, that's fine. That's your choice. But the only people you're responsible for is you and your family. These women want to act like it. You can argue with these gals online till you're blue in the face. Oh, if it hadn't been men like you, and if it hadn't been for the man, no, that's wrong. Most men, black men, don't have kids. A lot of black men don't have kids. They're single, never been married. What about the Pookies? You created the Pookies. No, 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 no. We're not going to do that. We're not going to play because you as a black man didn't step up. You created the Pookie epidemic. No, that's bullshit. These women specifically go after niggas like Future. Niggas like Nick Cannon. I like Nick Cannon, but let's not act like Nick Cannon's a hoe. Nick got 18, 19 motherfucking kids out here. Nick Cannon is a hoe. Flat out.
Yeah.
Flat out. But at least he takes care of his kids. Future don't take care of his kids, and there's still hoes lining up to have his baby. He don't even take care of baby Future. Russell Wilson said ass been taking care of baby Future.
That's true.
And hoes are still lining up to get with him.
Mm-hmm. And they know what it is.
You know he don't take care of his kids, but it's niggas like Future have babies. It's like, this is the category of Future like men who have babies, right? A small percentage of men, Pookies, who don't take care of these kids. Then you have a big selection of women, this versus this. You have a selection of this who wants this. You have a small selection of women like this who want men like this. Men who are upright, men who are mobile, men who are intelligent, men who handle the business, men who want to have families, who want to have wives, who want to do right by the women. Us men get overlooked by them females. We do. You see, you interview these people, you interview these women, you see it online, you see it on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok all day long. If you had a choice between a 9-to-5 brother and a drug dealer, which one would you choose? Well, I want the drug dealer. He gonna buy me purses and bags and shoes and this and I want the drug dealer. If you had a drug dealer, a scammer, a robber, or a 9-to-5 man, which one do you want? Well, the scammer, I feel like he would scam me, and I feel like the robber may. Let's go with the drug dealer. I'll take the drug dealer for 1,000. Alex. Rest in peace, Alex Trebek. I think he died. Pretty sure. Yes. Yeah, there are women out here who do want a upstanding male. But if you want an upstanding male, then you have to add all these stipulations to it. He has to have what? 6-pack, 6 figures, and over 6 foot. You got
and
to
over
add
6 inches.
Oh yeah, and over 6 inches. That's right. You got to have all the 6s. Even when you want a square dude, he has to make a certain amount of money. He has to live a certain lifestyle. He has to be able to do this and do this and do this. What's wrong with the everyday average brother? What's wrong with the plumber? What's wrong with the electrician? What's wrong with the carpenter? What's wrong with having an honest trade? What's wrong with the trash man? Trash man make good money. You know he gonna be home every day around the same time. What's wrong with the landscaper? What's wrong with having a mechanic? What's wrong with having a roofer? You know, these jobs make 60, 80 plus a year. You know, some of these jobs, you can go anywhere. Like I can pack up today. If I was a carpenter, I do carpentry, but I'm not a carpenter by trade. But if I was a carpenter, I could pack up, leave St. Louis today, and I could travel halfway across the world, and I could still be a carpenter.
True, you'll always be able to make money.
Y'all want these office dudes, these high value men. There ain't nothing wrong with a high value man, but again, you're talking about a small percentage of men and a large percentage of women who want that small percentage of men. But Umar wants to act like everything's always the man's fault. There are some dudes who aren't right, but again, there has to be context added to this whole situation.
Can't be a one-sided conversation.
Some men have to grow, just like women. People have to grow. You're not the same person who you was years ago. Like my homeboy told me, he's like, with his first son's mother, who just graduated high school. So shout out to him. But me and him was talking. He told me one day, he's like, you know what? One of the biggest mistakes I made was still sleeping with my baby mom even after we broke up. He said I was still paying bills in that house. I was paying every bill in that house while she was taking care of my son. And I felt like I could come in here and dig her out whenever I want to. And that caused a rift between them to where that damaged their relationship when their son was young.
Damn.
My man had to learn from that. He had to grow from that.
Yeah.
There are some dudes who, no matter, and that's men and women. There are some people, no matter what you do, no matter how you talk to them, no matter how much you help them, no matter nothing. Some people are just satisfied living on the bottom, which debunks the Pookie theory that Dr. Umar has. There will always be a certain level of people who are satisfied living at the bottom of society, who are satisfied doing this, running through women, doing that, not handling their responsibilities. Hell, damn it, Harry Hippie. There's a song called Harry Hippie that Bobby Womack sung. I don't know if he wrote it, but I know he sung it. It's basically a song called, Harry Hippie lies asleep in the shade. Life don't bug him because he thinks he got it made. He never worried about nothing in particular. And he basically goes on, his whole song is about this dude. He just a bum. He goes in and talks about, Mary Hippie. She's Harry's lady, counts all those pennies just to feed Harry's baby. And then, he goes on and like, I can't help you if you're sleeping on the ground. I can't help you if you're somewhere out of town. There's always going to be that type of dude. That's a song, what, in the 70s? I want to say the 70s he sung that. There's always going to be a level of people who just don't.
Oh, the lyrics is deep. I'm looking at the lyrics. The lyrics is something else.
Yeah, I fuck with Bobby Womack. Bobby Womack always has the great songs. But I can't with Umar. I know he panders to women. He panders to his fan base. But let's not act like if there's a utopia, like just tomorrow, Thanos snap, tomorrow, all black people are doing good. There's always going to be someone who don't want to do that. Always. There's no such thing as a utopian society. There never will be. There never will be. But I go on podcasts and I hold women accountable. I ain't seen it.
Like I said, I've never heard them talking this.
I haven't seen it. I can't stand Umar for certain things. How many women mess up a situation with her man or her husband because she's bored? Or because she wants something different? Or in Aisha Curry's case, you're married to a high value man, you have a beautiful family, you have everything you could ever want in life, and he can buy it for you, but you're seeking the attention of other men. What about Jada Pinkett Smith? Will Smith is a good dude. I generally believe Will Smith is a good dude. And for you to eviscerate this man in front of the entire world is fucked up. That's wrong. It's plenty of stories out here of women leave your husband. You can watch them old Kevin Samuels videos. Some of them are called in. So how long was you married to your husband? Oh, we was married for 20 years. And when did you marry? Oh, yeah. So did he pay the bills? Yes. Did you have to work? Well, I worked. No, did you have to work?
Have to work. Or was working an option.
Right. To sustain the household, did you have to work? Well, no. Did he treat you right? Yes. Did he beat on you? No. Did he take care of the kids? Yes. So why'd you divorce your husband? Well, I was bored. I wanted something different. So you mean to tell me that this man did everything in a relationship, held you down, took care of the kids, go down the list. He was a good man, and you divorced him because you were bored or because you wanted to seek the attention of other men outside of your relationship. I feel like men are always held accountable. It's always the men. Yes, men are the leaders. Yes, I completely agree with that. Men do need to straighten up their backs.
Yeah.
Some of us, and get our shit together. I agree with that. Men are the patriarchs. You know what I'm saying? We have to be that leader. I agree with that. But to say basically or insinuate that the woman can do no wrong is absolute foolishness. This is the reason why the passport bros exist now. Men is tired of this. I'm not responsible for your kids that you decide to have. Umar, and if you watch the whole interview, Umar's like, well, you planted the seed and da 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 da. Okay. But she let him go wrong. She kept the baby. I'm not saying going raw is right. You shouldn't be sleeping with a woman raw unless you intend on having a baby, unless that's your woman, your gal, your wife, or whatever. But even Shahrazad Ali has been trying to tell us since the 80s that the black woman has never been fully examined for her role in the destruction of the black civilization. And females hate her to this day. Hate her. I'm talking about like 3 generations of women hate Shahrazad Ali. Our brother Metu Jallo was going to bring this sister to St. Louis to do a lecture, and he got so much hate mail from these raggedy ass bitches that he had to cancel that fucking lecture, and he had to apologize to the sister. But she's used to it. She's used to it. She understands. She understood.
Yeah. But I remember around that time he was stressed out. I felt so bad for him.
Yes, there are men who need to do better. Absolutely. Yeah. But a lot of men that I see are on the up and up. Hell, even the street niggas that I know takes care of their kids and they gal. What he doing might not necessarily be right, but at least he taking care of his responsibilities. Most of the dudes that I know, and maybe it's because I don't hang around those type of pookies. Men typically don't keep non-like-minded company. If a man is on the up and up, typically he's not going to keep a pookie around. Because a pookie is going to try to tear down what you got because he's a pookie. Ice-T talked about it in his book. It was an autobiography I read some years ago of Ice-T, and he was talking about how he tried to put his homeboy on, or a couple of homeboys or whatever, and gave him a job, gave him a position, gave him a chance to eat, and they end up robbing this nigga. Straight came up to that nigga office and robbed him.
Damn.
Not everybody. Yes, I agree. Kevin Hart and his plastic cup boys, I appreciate the fact that they have not turned on each other, at least that I know of. I know there was a little turmoil between them a couple of years ago. But come on, man. Let's be real here. Females, I typically see women can have a nice house, a nice job, a nice car, be living good, have you a great man, and you still be hanging or still be friends with, you know, Welfare Winfrey. Let's just say. Y'all still be friends with these ratchet females who not going nowhere. Like you're not doing shit with your life. If you watch the documentary movie Diary of a Tired Black Man, you see that dude's wife had everything, had a house, didn't have to work, had a beautiful daughter. Man came home by 6:15 every day, didn't cheat, didn't do nothing, but had a whole gaggle, looked it up, a gaggle of friends sitting around being toxic for with one another. Being toxic. And I don't agree that men need to step up and we need to do this. And if men fix ourselves up and straighten up our backs, then women are automatically going to fall in line. I don't agree with that. And as far as domestic violence is concerned, I'm going to say this and I'm going to end my piece. As far as domestic violence is concerned, I don't believe in getting involved in domestic situations. I do not. I don't. Because what I asked one of these females in that whole Tokyo Tony situation, oh, you're wrong, you're this, you're that. Okay. What if he decided to put his hands on Tony? What if he decided to bust head to the white meat? Then what?
And to be fair, in that video, he did threaten her and told her to put the camera down and step inside the room. You saw what she did. And
she threatened him too. Hey, you gonna die, you gonna die, you gonna die. And that was his brother. I don't know his name, but it was his brother. I think he was at a Walmart. And he tried to intervene in this domestic situation in this particular store between a man and a woman, and his woman begged him not to. She begged him not to do it, and he ended up losing his life. I feel like Denzel. They tried to kill my wife. The man ended up losing his life behind a situation that didn't have nothing to do with him. And now his wife is left being a widow, raising his kids. I don't agree with domestic violence. I don't agree with a man putting his hands on a woman unless she puts his hands on him first. Then that's self-defense. But again, accountability. You put yourself in a situation that's not the best for you. Then you get upset when nobody comes to your defense. That's like jumping into a pool of piranhas. You know they're flood. You know they eat meat. You know they can smell just a whiff of blood like sharks can. But you know that's not good for you, but you jump into a pool of piranhas anyway, and then you eat your ass up. And then you get mad at how come didn't nobody come and save me? And a lot of times these women are repeat offenders. I could tell you some stories, but I'm done. I'm done. I just can't.
Why you make that face?
It just pisses me off. Like, I'm all about accountability. I really am. That is the platform that I stand on above everything else. Everybody must be accountable for your actions. And I ain't talking about when you meet Jesus in the afterlife and Jesus asks you what happened, this, that, and the third. No, you have to be accountable for your actions in this life. You're not an island. Like my pops used to always tell me, no one man is an island. You're not an island. What you do affects others.
Yep.
It's a chain reaction. And the reason why us men, a lot of men are going east, going to other countries, trying not to mess with these westernized American women, is because there's no accountability. There's none. You knew this man was not good for you. And it's funny because me and my homeboy Courtney, aka Phoenix, we used to joke about this all the time in Job Corps. That was like 2004. He beats me, but I love him. Oh, he didn't mean it. Oh no, he's not gonna do it again. Where's the accountability? Like, my own mom won't even take accountability for her actions. 100%. She'll take partial accountability, but she won't take 100% accountability for her role in my parents' relationships. My pops has. He's taken accountability. He's apologized. He's grown. You know, hey, son, I'm sorry I taught you the world was black and white. I was wrong. Hey, son, I'm sorry, this, that, and the other. Hey, son, I did the best I could with what I had to work with at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, son, if I wasn't the best father to you growing up, I apologize. I had a lot of growing up to do.
But you get someone to be like, yeah, I did this, but, and then it shifts the blame.
That's what it is.
Some women do that. It shifts the blame.
I have to, because I love my mother dearly. I will always love my mom. I love her to life. And I will try not to disrespect her as an adult. And a lot of times that means walking away from her.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to do that very recently. Like, we get into it and you're steady trying to justify your position between me and my father. And I'm telling you, I don't care. It's irrelevant. It happened 25, 30 years ago. What happened is what happened. It has no bearing on what's going on today, especially with me. But it's kind of like you keep wanting to go, and you keep wanting to go, and you keep wanting to justify your position. Well, your daddy did this, and your daddy was this, and your daddy was that, and your daddy. Well, maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but he's not the same man today that he was 30 years ago. He's grown.
Mm-hmm.
He's moved on with his life. And again, I'm trying to tell you that I don't care about what happened in the past. You steady bringing up the past, trying to justify the past to me. I'm trying to tell you that the past is irrelevant.
Shouldn't even really be having that conversation with you at all about what your dad this and that.
Look.
Yeah.
I just be like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Like, and my mom even antagonizes me. Like, oh, see, that's why you ain't never gonna have a wife, is because you always running away. I'm not running away. I'm walking away as to avoid doing or saying something that I'm gonna regret.
Yeah.
You could call me weak, and this goes for any situation, because I was in a domestic situation with my ex, and I didn't hit her. I put her in the headlock, tried to restrain her, but that was it. I could have, but I didn't. I chose not to. I don't want to have to do that. You see what I'm saying? A man will walk away from a toxic situation before he does something he's gonna regret. But he's weak. He's a punk ass bitch. He's this. He's everything under the sun. But I don't know, nigga. I'm done. I'm in my piece right there. I ain't got shit else to say.
You good? You good? I know that Umar stuff pissed you off. I could tell when I talked to you earlier. It's like I said, it's a one-sided conversation. You can't talk about men being pookies and all this other type of stuff without addressing and holding women accountable. Now, you may have somebody that may come and say, oh, well, there wasn't any women there, so it wasn't really, a good space to talk about women and accountability, this and that, because we're in a room full of men and, it's just a video of men holding each other accountable. Okay, I can understand that, and that's fine. But at the same time, like I said, one, it's weird to even see Umar talking that space. And two, it's again very one-sided. You cannot absolve women for the things that we've done in regards to relationships and the destruction of the Black community, et cetera, et cetera. Like, you can't just put that all off on men and say women have a right to be upset because we fucked up, which is all fine and well, but what about men's upset? What about hearing their heart and all of that? What about that? That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to share this and then we're going to be done, because I think this just sums up my point.
You're stupid.
I think this just sums it all up. Even when,
if we never allowed Pookie to develop, she would not have a Pookie.
Shut your ass up, Umar. Shut your ass up.
The first thing we got to do is take responsibility for why our women.
Shut your ass up, Umar. I'm sick of your shit.
I'm getting tired of.
Basically,
you don't never find me.
Nothing. I just want to share this one picture here. And let's see. There we go. Come on. Load for me. Load for me. No. No.
Ted.
What down?
Unless you share where you got it from.
Well, it's on my phone. Here it is, right here.
The grass is always greener. Actress Tia Mowry reveals she's struggling with dating since leaving husband. I have nobody in my DMs. And the comment says they choose to be clowns and get upset when people laugh. Ooh.
Tia Mowry, we don't know 100% of what went on in her particular relationship. But from what most people gather, she was just unhappy in and of herself. Like, dude didn't do nothing to her, was a great father, this, that, and the third. But I think it's more or less her chasing again for that greener grass. Because since she's been divorced, she's been trying to, kind of thirst trap a little bit online. She's been kind of treating her son almost as if her husband. And I've seen one video where her son was like, do you like this outfit or do you like this outfit? And her son was just like, just go put some more clothes on. Just go. You not satisfied with what you had. And I think this is one of the biggest problems that we have amongst my people. You're not satisfied with what you got. You want something else. But then when you realize that you're older, you have kids, and then you realize, oh, maybe it wasn't the best decision for me to leave my husband. If it was all that bad at you leaving your husband, I'm sure she would need some time to herself to regroup her thoughts and heal and all that good stuff. But no, you out here trying to thought it up. And I've looked at some of her posts on Facebook and Instagram, and I'd be like, yo, not saying she's as scandalous as Taraji P. Henson is. You know, you being a middle-aged woman and you got your titties hanging out that you just got done from the surgeon. You know, I thought that was hella foul. Gabrielle Union, being a wife herself, got her ass hanging out on the damn carpet. But yo, you steady looking for what ain't instead of what is. You could say, you know, I'm unhappy. Let me just divorce my husband and find me something better. It don't work like that. It don't. And it's more than likely that men typically will get married before a woman will after a divorce. And you divorce your husband for what? For what? Why? Oh, I'm looking for somebody else, but ain't nobody checking for me. You had a good thing. You had a good thing. Remember that I don't know if you ever heard the song. It's called Be For Real. It's by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, which during that time it was really like Teddy Pendergrass and the Blue Notes. But it's this song. Y'all go look this song up. It's called Be For Real. And essentially, Teddy Pendergrass talks about how his woman is out of pocket. And he's having this conversation with his lady. And it's like, you know, I see you, hear you going around town bragging about how much money that we have, our schools that our kids go to, flashing our wealth, blah, 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 blah. And then it's kind of like you get around my friends, and some of my friends aren't at the income level that we're at, that I'm at. Basically, he was making all the money. She was making off of it. And it's like, you know, we get around my friends and you want to talk about how much money I make and how much this and how much that. And they live in the lower development homes projects. They live in the lower development homes. And he basically ends up breaking up with her in this song. And it's like, be for real, girl, because you out here boasting and bragging about what it is that you got. And you're not considering these other people, and you don't know how good that you got it until it's gone. And that's basically one of them situations. So I like them old school songs. You know, them old school songs really had them messages in there.
Yes, they did.
Backstabber, doom, 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 doom. All that good shit. You know, the for the love of money. You know, man, all them good old school songs that had the messages. Yeah.
Backstabbers was a good song.
Had the messages in there.
Yeah.
Even Grandmaster Flash with the message, you know. Broken glass everywhere. People pissing in the stairs. You know, they just don't care. Can't take the smell, can't take the noise. I got no money to them out. I guess I got no choice. Rats in the front room, roaches in the back. Junkies in the alley with the baseball bat.
Yeah.
Them old songs used to teach you a whole lot. They had game in them songs.
And they slap.
And they definitely slap. But again, the grass is always green on the other side. Sometimes it is. It's, you know, you can look at your neighbor's lawn, and I'm a landscaper, and I'll say this and I'll end my plane. I'm a landscaper. It's easy to look at my neighbor's lawn. Oh, he's got a nice, beautiful, thick, healthy, luscious looking lawn. It's green. Oh, it's so pretty. He's got the most beautiful yard. And I can look at my yard. It's got potholes, gopher holes, all type of clover and weeds and shit in my yard. And I can look, well, damn, he got a nicer yard than I got. But you know what? If you take the time to nurture your own yard, which is yourself and the things around you, if you take time to nurture yourself and the things around you, and you feed that yard, and you weed that yard, and you water that yard, and you seed that yard, and eventually your yard is going to look like your neighbor's yard. If I had not cultivated my experience at O'Reilly's, I started out as a counter person, then I went to kind of like a shift lead, then I basically moved up to second in command running commercial. I could have just said, I'm just going to be a counter person. I'm going to be cool making this little $12 an hour. But I didn't do that. I cultivated my experience. I poured into my experience. And I shot for the moon. Yeah. And although I did not reach the moon, what I did at O'Reilly's allowed me to get this new job to where I have stepped 3 levels up, like doubling my income type shit. And I just think that we have lost that as a society. Maybe not so much men, because men are typically the providers and the protectors, but definitely the women. Instead of getting in on the ground floor, helping a man to build and be with him and nurture that relationship. And of course, it goes both ways, because a woman needs nurturing too. I absolutely, no doubt about it. But until you look inside of yourself, start with the man in the mirror, like Michael Jackson say, and focus on your own existence and try to cultivate your own existence for the betterment of yourself and your others, you losing. And I'm done.
Yeah, I agree. I ain't even gonna add.
Well, this has been the end of the Social Conscious podcast. This is episode 70. I appreciate everybody.
It is 70. Damn, I thought we lost count.
No, I had to go back to archives and look. Yeah, so shout out to our new subscribers. If you're watching us on YouTube, I appreciate you subscribing. That whole Michael Jordan, LeBron, James debate is doing numbers on the page. That's a super hot topic. Got a bunch of subscribers. So I hope you guys watch the other videos. I may or may not start doing solo videos again in regards to different topics outside of the podcast, because there's definitely some things that I can personally talk about. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, eventually I will probably do the whole lawn care entry level vlog thing. Definitely got to get some pieces in place. Camera, phone, not necessarily phone, but like camera, microphone, some other deals. I do kind of want to do that because, like sometimes I'll be like, I want to do this full time. And other times I'll be like, I do not want to do this full time, but I enjoy doing it. But that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. Scratch that. It'll be out when it's out, if ever. I'm likely to change my mind. You can follow me on Instagram at D Overweight Lover. That's the letter D OVR WEIGHT LVR. I don't use Twitter, Facebook. I use Facebook, but add me on the ground. You can also follow my business page at More Lawn St. Louis. That's MOORLAWNSST Lewis. You can check out our podcast in audio form on Spotify, which used to be Anchor, but it's now Spotify, podcast, or whatever. I will leave the link in the description below, as in all of our recent videos. Again, thank you for watching, listening, subscribing, and we'll holler at you next time. Peace, love, and soul.
I guess.
Don Corleone is side of the game, nigga.